What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Ash Brown, and this is Ash Brown Uncensored. On this program, I talk a little bit about everything. It may be Ash Brown related, but it's probably pop culture related. So you got to stay tuned to see what I'm going to talk about. What I'm going to talk about is pop culture stuff, right? So I'm going to talk about some shows that I'm watching, some stuff that you may want to tune to, or maybe some stuff that you don't too much care for. Either way, I'm talking about it. Okay, so first, and I believe I talked about this previously, there is a show that is on Disney Plus / Hulu called Queens. And I absolutely love this show. It basically follows the lives of a lot of female animals in the animal kingdom and some of their different struggles and things that they've had to go through. And it's just inspiring. It's fascinating. And I love the fact that Angela Bassett narrates. I mean, she's amazing. So you can definitely tell to see, like, it's a really good show. I love that stuff now. It's very fascinating and calming to watch animals. My grandfather used to do that a lot. If he wasn't watching like a Western or something from like early on years from like the 60s or something, he was always watching like animal type shows and stuff kind of documenting animals. So I guess that's where I get a lot of it from. But yeah, it's very fascinating. There's a new show that just came out this week. I think it's called Tigers. And I think, oh goodness. What is her name? The chick that's married to Nick Jonas. Priyanka Chopra Jonas. She actually does the voice on this one. And so I definitely have to check that out because, like I said, watching these nature type shows, it's calming, it's chilling, it just kind of gives you a nice little balance and something good for me to watch, you know. I watch enough violence and true crime, so this kind of neutralizes a lot of that for me throughout the week. So I watch enough true crime. Trust and believe that. Enough true crime. Let's see. What else am I watching? So Delicate just ended. So I am an American Horror Story buff. All right. I've been watching and following all the seasons. There are only a couple of seasons that are kind of questionable. I like them going back to the witch aspect of it. Coven was probably my favorite season. I really enjoyed Coven. Just to see the different variations of witches and stuff. I really enjoyed Coven. So Delicate was interesting. I was a little unsure of how Kardashian was going to do in it. But she actually did really good. She actually was very believable. And I think this was the type of role that made her a believable character. And I enjoyed the season. I don't like the fact that they split it up like how they did. And we could have done with a few more episodes. But overall, I think it was definitely a good season. Definitely different. Strange. But I think that they, for the most part, answered all the questions that we had. So, that worked out for that. Them is back on Prime. All right, it's back on Amazon Prime for season 2. Deborah Ayorindi, I hope I'm saying her name right. She is back for season 2. And I love the fact that it's an anthology because sometimes with shows, it can get a little stagnant. If it's the same characters, the same type of storylines. I love the fact that new season, new plot, new story, new everything. The only thing that's the same is I believe she's the only cast member that was in the first season. And this one I think it's very relatable for me just because I was alive during that time period. Even though I wasn't really fully aware of a lot of the racial stressors and the racial tensions that were going on at that time. Since then, I've seen so many documentaries just going in on what that time period was like. And it was tough. It was tough. And so this season really illustrates a lot of the frustrations that neighborhoods had, especially Black and Korean and Asian American neighborhoods in Los Angeles during that time, because in the early 90s, I would say between 90 and 93, there were a lot of racial issues that were going on, from the Rodney King beating to the murder of Latasha Harlins. There was a lot of pain that so many people were dealing with. A lot of people. And then as far as Asian American goes, there were a lot of Asian Americans that were killed and slaughtered that their cases were never investigated. And, this tale in Them, season 2, really highlights a lot of the things that got swept under the rug. And they're not shying away from it. They are going all the way in on it, because I feel like this is definitely due time for it to happen. And it's recognizing those people that 30, 40 years later, guess what? They're still hurting. Those neighborhoods probably never healed. There will always be some kind of remnant of those blemishes that happened. And it doesn't go away. So I really like the fact that they are going for the jugular and really going in on these issues that a lot of times are ignored, or people want to pretend don't happen or didn't happen. And it's really highlighting that. Luke James is in it, and y'all, he is something else. He is something else. Like, the first time I remember seeing him was when he played Johnny Gill in the New Edition movie, or the New Edition miniseries or whatever. And I've kind of watched him evolve as an actor. And I have to say, he definitely has evolved. Maybe too much evolution. I don't know. It's just, he's evolved a whole lot. And in Them, he definitely shows a completely different side that you would have never guessed. I would have never thought that he had anything like this in him, but he definitely showcases a new side. And it's interesting. It's interesting. I find myself now just watching stuff like this because representation is important. It does. It matters. And these stories should be told. So I'm glad that they are being told. Them is not for everyone, okay? I'm not going to sit up here and everybody used to watch Them. No, it's not for everyone, because everyone is sensitive to certain things and certain issues. And it's heavy, but because I'm aware of a lot of the topics and things that are going to be covered, I can handle it. Everybody's not going to be able to handle it. And that's just being 100 about it. So, I would say, check it out at your own risk. but understand that it's not for everyone. After the first episode, you'll know if it's for you or not. That's even if you can make it through the full episode. It's very interesting. And it's a sci-fi thriller with a racial... It's got a racial undertone to it, but that's just because that's what happened. I mean, I can't even explain it any other way. That's really what happened in real life. So it's triggering. It can definitely be triggering for people. But that's the world that we're made of. That's a part of our history. You can try to ignore it, but it just is what it is. Now, like I said, I've been trying to watch stuff to try to calm my nerves and keep me occupied if I'm in between projects and stuff. And a show that I never considered, but is actually well-written show is Murder, She Wrote. Murder, She Wrote. I've been watching that, y'all. Like, Angela Lansbury was genius. Murder, She Wrote. And I kind of remember it coming on Saturdays. I forgot what channel it would come on, but I remember it coming on Saturdays. It was in syndication early. Like, that show was, like, always on. And it's a fascinating show. Now, some of the situations are just like, you know what, really? Really, Jessica Fletcher? Really? But overall, I think it's a good show. It's a good pastime. And it's fascinating to watch these stories unfold. I even saw one with Felicia Rashad. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Felicia Rashad. Yes. So that's basically it. So that's been my week. I've been trying not to stress just because life tends to just stress us sometimes. So we got to find ways of getting through that stress and finding our happy. That's pretty much it. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your love and support throughout all the years. I mean, we're coming up on 2,000 episodes of The Ashsaidit Show. This show here, Ash Brown Uncensored, is coming up on 200 episodes. That's crazy because I don't count the shows, y'all. I know like some people are like, oh my gosh, how should keep up with all these shows and how should do this and how should do that. I don't count the shows. I just do them, and at some point I take notice of what the count is at. But, yeah, that's the story. Anyways, have a wonderful, purposeful, and peaceful week ahead, all right? Do some major stuff. Do something that makes you happy. Even if it's just one thing, do something that makes you happy. I will holla at y'all later. Deuces.